Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk a little bit about inspiration and what can inspire you to paint a picture. I was in the summer this year, I was going to say recently, but it's not that recent, it was a couple of months back, early June. I was at the Download Festival in the UK, near a little village called Cathedral. Some of you may know of it. If not, Download Festival is a rock metal festival. It takes part over 3 days, Friday, Saturday and a Sunday. Although the festival's actually open most of the week for the campers to go there. The little sleepy village of Cathedral is swarmed with rockers. It's an absolutely great atmosphere. Everybody's dead friendly, there's never any trouble. Really is a cool place to be at that time. Anyway, it was I do go to the festival most years. I just love the atmosphere, I love the music, I love the rock bands. I must admit I prefer the classic rock bands, and they usually appear on a Sunday. This what I want to talk about was the Sunday of the festival at Download. It was the last band of the night. It was Aerosmith. They were headlining it, and I'd been there all day. Had an absolutely fantastic day listening to all the bands. The sun was setting. I think it sets about 9 o'clock in the UK in June, so the sun was going down. The lights of the stage was starting to take over from the sunshine. It was really bright. The band had come on. Aerosmith had struck up. Steve Tyler was strutting his stuff and stomping along the stage, and they have this huge platform that extends from the stage, and he was doing his stuff across there. The lights were flashing. Anybody knows anything about Download, they know it rains constantly, and everybody would be covered in mud, so consequently the sky is full of clouds. So there was this monolith of a stage set with a backdrop of a really stormy sky, and the bright lights were shining, flashing. The crowds were absolutely phenomenal. You couldn't get anywhere near the stage for the crowds. The atmosphere was just awesome. The music was so loud, it's pounding on your chest, and it was just a great feeling. So I took out my phone and probably annoyed the people behind me by sticking my hand in the air trying to get some pictures, and I grabbed a few photos because I was inspired, and I knew that I was going to do a painting at some point in the future of this gig, and that's what I want to talk about. Often you hear people say, I don't know what to draw, I don't know what to paint, I haven't got an idea, and I'm never at a stump to wonder what I'm going to paint next. I've always got 4 or 5 projects in the pipeline, and the reason for that is I'm always looking for inspiration. So even when I'm not drawing, I'm doing something totally different, I've got my eye open for things that are potentially something I want to paint. If I'm walking down the street and I see something that I like, recently I saw a cathedral. There's a painting on the channel somewhere about that. I'll stick a link below so you can have a look at that if you want. I saw this cathedral in the centre of Derby. I just whipped the camera out, and I have to say, having an iPhone isn't so cool actually, because I've had 2 and they both broke on me. So now I'm down to using a really old Samsung, but that's besides the point. Having a camera phone, I should have said, is so cool, because you're never without a camera in your pocket. So you see something, just get your camera out and take a picture of it. So I've always got a stock of photos that I have planned to turn into paintings. and it could be anything. And in most unlikely situation, I definitely did not go to download with the intentions of coming away with material to paint a picture. And if I had have done, I would have probably been sort of looking at the crowd and taking candid shots of the crowd, certainly not thinking that I was going to paint the stage, and something that was actually staged for a portrait, if you like. I would have gone for something like an hot dog stall with people queuing at it or something like that. You can be out in the country going on a walk and you might think, you've got this sort of majestic scenery going off and everything, but there might be just something like a gate or a small clump of grass with a few flowers, wild flowers poking out of them that takes your eye. So always be on the alert and look for things to paint. And if you've got a camera, that's great because you can grab a picture and build a library. Get yourself a library of images ready to paint. So when you have got time to paint, you're excited because you know what you're going to be doing. So I've got my source material, I've got the photos that I want to work from, I've got the subject matter, I know exactly what I want to paint. So do I do a watercolour painting? Do I do an oil painting, or maybe a pastel drawing? I think quite often the subject matter determines what material you are going to use, or what media you're going to use to produce your finished piece. So for me, watercolours does not scream at me rock festival. I'm sure the people out there that would make an absolutely awesome job of painting a rock festival in watercolours, but for me, I think watercolours is a bit more subtle, softer, and not really suited for that sort of rock image. So I want to go, I got in my head this painting, and it's going to be an oil painting. So that was the media I chose to work in. And I knew I didn't want a lot of detail in there. I didn't want it to be blending everything. I wanted big bold brush marks, and I wanted to keep it really loose, and I wanted this dramatic sky of clouds, because that's what download's all about. Anybody that's been there will know how wet you get and how much mud there is at download. And it's kind of something that you have to go through, and you embrace the rain and the mud to watch all these bands. So it really is something. So I needed this dramatic sky, and it needed to be a really loose oil painting. So I could see the finished painting before I'd even started, to be honest. So I knew exactly where I was going with this. I start as I normally do, by putting on a ground colour over the whole of the canvas. In this case, sort of an orange russety brown colour. And the reason I do that, people have asked me in the past, why do you paint the canvas first? Well, I put the colour on for a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to be painting on a white canvas, because it makes it difficult to judge the tones and getting the lights and the darks correct. So I like to put sort of a mid-tone over the whole of the canvas, so then I can judge my tones better as I'm painting. And two, I try and use a complementary colour on the ground to what I've got in my head of what the finished painting is going to be, and that way if there's any areas where the ground colour shows through the painting, it will complement it, and it will add vibrance to the painting. So that's why I do that, and that's pretty much how I always start my oil paintings. I don't do watercolours that way, but that's how I work with oil paintings. As usual, I'm working with default brushes from Procreate, and that is a turpentine brush and the oil paint brush. They're the only two brushes I use throughout the whole of the painting. And with the blending brush or smudge tool, I don't know what you call it, blending tool, but I've got that set with a turpentine brush, and I pretty much just use changing the size of the two brushes. I don't mess about with the settings a great deal in this painting, so I probably should start to explore them a little bit more now I'm getting used to painting digitally. Also, I wonder if I should be exploring third-party brushes, brushes that other people have created, and I wondered what you guys thought, if it's worth exploring that, and do you have any recommendations of brushes I should try? Because I really have just used the default brushes, and it might be worth me getting a little bit bolder and exploring other things, because that's the whole point of learning to paint digitally for me. I'm looking to expand and explore new mediums, so perhaps I shouldn't restrict myself to the tools that are available within the app, whether it be Procreate or ArtRage or whatever. So I'd be really interested to find out what you think about that. The sky, the approach I took with that is pretty much painted on 2 layers really, so well, 3 I suppose if you count the ground, because you can see that glowing through the other colours in place. And the first layer of colours that I put on are all done with the turpentine brush, and I don't think, I'm going to have a look at it, I'm pretty sure I don't mess about with the settings at all. No, I don't. I use them. I use the settings default as they are, and I change the opacity. I knew there was something that I would be messing about with, to sort of change the amount of pigment you've got or paint you've got on the brush, and I kind of use the opacity of having thinner paint, if you like. So I'm playing with the opacity all the while to change the appearance of how thick the paint is. And I paint the old sky basically just with the turpentine brush, and then I create another layer that I'm painted into that layer again, and I'm using slightly different colours, and again I'm just using the turpentine brush because I want that sort of loose, I don't know what words I'm looking for really. I want it, I don't want sort of solid objects. I want it to look like something that's moving and changing and organic. Yeah, and then the clouds, the sharp sort of clouds as the sun's setting, I have gone in with the oil brush and put some sort of thicker brushes in there. Again, I suppose that's how I would approach it if I was doing an oil painting. Unfortunately, I recorded this video using the recorder that's available inside of Procreate, so it does an old screen capture. It doesn't sort of do the bit where you zoom in on the painting. So consequently, when I'm doing the detail of the band members, I couldn't zoom in enough to see the detail. If I did try and zoom in, it was just a blur. So what I've done, I've just taken a still image and superimposed that on the top, so although you can't actually see the detailed brushwork, you do get to see the detail of the band members as they are in the painting. I hope that doesn't spoil it too much for you. It's a bit of a kind of a cheat really, but as I say, I really just didn't capture the detail well enough to really show you what I'd done on the actual sort of brushwork as it was happening. So sorry about that. Well, that's it. I've really enjoyed doing this painting. I'm very happy with the finished result. I really like it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you like the painting, and if you have, a thumbs up would be appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, because I've got lots more content like this. I've got a couple of new series coming up, and I'd love to be sharing them with you. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.